Yeah,
Right.
nothing new works right away.
Nothing new. Isn't that the case?
Pretty much.
Why is that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
If I had the answer, I'd try to solve the
I
problem.
know.
But
I know what the
okay.
problem is.
Oh God.
What's that?
Do I want to hear what you think it is? Jesus.
Welcome to Cue the Mic. I'm Darren Worth.
And I'm Randy Twyford. Thank you very much this morning.
Whoa. No, like handsomely.
Not even handsome and shit.
It's just a given.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a given.
And I'm Emma Derflinger, and this is actually episode 116. I misspoke last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
We'll let it slide. Nobody ever listens anyway.
That's
To
so
what
far
episode
from the
it
truth.
is.
Oh.
Everybody listens.
Just gonna say. Also, I would like to defend myself. I got a text from my mom, and she knew that last week's episode was going out on Tuesday. So
Yeah.
I put it in the podcast.
And since Randy and I don't listen, we just talk.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Right.
Speaking of,
doesn't sound like everybody listens to the end. You guys should.
do you have any current statistics about listeners or followers or anything?
I don't off the top
Not
of
to
my
put
head.
you on the spot.
I can pull them up for you.
Probably down 30%.
Why would we be down 30%?
I don't know, because, they never called. Kylie Kelsey keeps winning awards.
We're not quite the Kelseys. And Kylie Kelsey is the best. She's the best. She's the coolest person ever. I would like to be her friend.
Who's that?
Kylie Kelsey, Jason Kelsey's wife.
Oh, okay. Because the other one's Taylor Swift's husband, right?
They're not married yet.
They're not married yet? Huh.
No, they're not married. Okay, so we have 29
followers.
No.
Oh.
Here's the problem.
See,
I could look up followers.
Hey, I just read something this morning. Something about, what was it? Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
Jesus.
I think it said poor people come up with excuses, rich people come up with solutions.
Oh,
There you go.
I just read that.
Okay.
I don't know why that came to mind when you said that. And it wasn't rich or poor. It was, let's get off on the right foot. I don't want Emma mad at me.
You did this to yourself. You didn't have to say it.
I'm on lack of sleep.
Well, and the reason I said that is because not everybody follows the podcast that listens to it.
I can believe that.
And bastards.
And not everybody downloads that listens to it.
Bastards.
But we are down.
There you go, Darren.
Our daily listeners within the last month.
Oh, jeez.
So they aren't liking our content.
Guys, this is kind of bizarre. We have 726 listeners.
Is that it?
And that's summed across all of the days. Yeah. Which is kind of that's for how small of a podcast we are. That's kind of legit.
What do you mean
I think.
Small?
Well, we got 726 listeners. That is down 2% from last month.
Should we get that put on a t-shirt or what?
No, I don't know. I'm just proud of us. What the heck?
Well, and that doesn't include the people that don't download and all that stuff.
And that's how not full. Like some people listen to the like when we start our outro, they stop listening. Okay, stop making fun of me.
Outro.
Overall, in the last year, we have had 10,400 listeners. 10,421 to be exact. Between July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025 versus July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. However, we are down 6%.
We're going to have to start looking at the return on investment here, Randy.
Yeah.
What? No. Come on, guys.
I don't even know what investment it is, but I know my time's really expensive.
We've had, overall, since the beginning, we've had 21,700 listeners on the dot.
Now, does that include repeat people or?
It's the total number of daily listeners summed across all days.
Okay, so there'd be some repeats.
I guess so. Probably. Well, who would be listening to our podcast twice?
No, but listen this week and then listen next week.
Okay, yeah. Maybe. Probably. Yeah, you're right.
Boy,
I don't know. I'm not mad about that.
I can tell why listeners are down. We sit there and talk about stats for 10 minutes.
You guys asked. Hop off.
What was that about?
I don't know what that means, Randy. I just did it back. She did it to me. I did it back.
You guys don't know pop culture. Come on.
Oh.
It's from Friends. It's how they used to flip each other off when they couldn't actually flip each other off.
Huh.
Yeah.
We'll remember that.
But. Okay. Anyway, so we are 6 minutes in. You guys want to talk about something legit?
Yeah, what's legit?
I don't know. What's going on?
Well, I'm coming to you live from, not live, recording from the village of Cissna Park, Illinois.
Village of?
The village of Cissna Park, Illinois.
Been there years ago.
Yeah, it's quite a town. If you're going to, I never thought I would. Well, I guess I did think, but you'd never think you'd celebrate America in Illinois.
Well, that offends me a little bit, but it's factual.
But I'm telling you, small town Illinois is alive.
Right. That's all we got left once you get out of Chicago. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing how much things are different. You know, the local stores and the bars and the restaurants, and it's crazy. I mean, I've spent the last 2 days kind of traveling around this entire Iroquois County and Iroquois County. And it's amazing that, pretty patriotic, actually.
Well, I could believe it. A lot of these small towns really celebrate the 4th of July.
Oh, man. Like how? Like 3 days in a row.
Well, you know, our small town close to us, they celebrate the 4th by having a burgoo.
A burgoo?
A burgoo.
With some mutton?
No, this is all just chicken, beef, and pork. No mutton.
No mutton?
No.
I guess I've never heard of burgoo without mutton.
Yeah, I don't know. They've been having this for years and years and years, and they have an orchestra on the bandstand, and then the burgoo, and I was actually on the 4th you can go over and get a gallon of it, and take home.
Yeah.
And I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't go over there because there was such an ungodly line of people to pick up the burger at $30 a gallon.
Huh.
It was unbelievable. I mean, just saw on Facebook just line after line after line, and I'm sure they sold out. And that's what they typically do. They'll sell out uh, before before the lines get all taken care of.
Yeah, we went to a little town. We've been to a lot of little towns, as you can imagine, because one of the pastimes of Brian and Carrie Luke from it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Some may know that's where we're visiting, and Luke's one stop. We came for a visit last minute because they needed barbecue sauce. We sell our barbecue sauce to them, and they needed like 40 cases of barbecue sauce. So instead of doing a last minute trip to Florida, we did a last minute trip to Cessna Park.
Well,
And
it's very similar.
yeah, very
Practically
similar.
the same thing.
Very similar. Except for it's not raining here.
Is it
But
raining down in Florida?
yeah, monsooning.
So bonus.
What?
So that's a bonus.
Yeah, it's a bonus. So anyway, we traveled around small towns, and one of the towns we went to for a 4th of July little celebration was, I think it was called Anarga, something like that. I'd
Onega?
have to look. I'd have to look it up on a map. And we were searching for a corn dog,
Oh boy.
and you'd like, we're going for a corn dog, and Uncle Fred was making corn dogs. And so as soon as we got there at the American Legion, we were about the only ones there because we thought it started at noon. It didn't start till 4, and we got there about 3:45. Anyway, we were to call Uncle Fred, and he was to deliver corn dogs to us because he knew it would be too busy for us to get corn dogs, and he didn't want us to have to wait in line.
Right.
So anyway, we call and say, hey, we're in the beer garden. Of course, I was having a nice, cold, purified water.
Right.
And here comes Uncle Fred with corn dogs and condiments. And he has a homemade corn dog batter that he makes from scratch.
Now, does he have a stand at the
Nope.
4th of July special?
He only does corn dogs once a year on the 4th of July in this small little town.
Okay.
Well, I shouldn't say that because I've heard that he did it for a family thing too or whatever, but no, he doesn't have a stand. He's 80 years old.
Okay.
But very lively. Very lively. Uncle Fred's very lively. He's got a garden that's like an acre.
Sure.
That he keeps up. That's just amazing. I've been to his garden, and the guy is. I could talk to him for like weeks at a time. We should have him on the podcast.
Okay.
Anyway, he brings out these corn dogs, and they are worth the drive. And I'm not even a huge corn dog guy, but corn dog. And so this batter was it just was a little different. I don't know. And so we started talking about, it reminded me, I was talking to another barbecue restaurant in Des Moines, out in Bondurant, Farm Boys Barbecue. He's kind of a new guy on the block.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good.
Emma's been to Farm Boys?
I have been. Lane's actually told me that we should talk about them on the podcast quite a few times. He likes them a lot. Yeah.
So what does Lane like about, and we'll switch gears because I had an hour-long conversation with the owner of Farm Boys Barbecue the other day.
Lane really likes their jalapeno sausage. Their cheddar jalapeno sausage.
Yeah.
And then some. I don't know. It's been a while since we've been there. But
does he like their hoe cakes?
I don't think so.
I've
I
never
don't
heard
think so.
anybody that didn't like their hoe cakes.
Well, I don't think he had any. I just don't think, because I feel like I would know.
Refresh us on what a hoe cake is.
Yeah. What is a hoe
So,
cake?
so a hoe cake, other friends refer to as a Johnny cake,
All right.
Still clueless.
is like a almost like a soft shell tortilla, but made out of cornbread.
Okay.
It's almost like fried cornbread, but fried on a griddle.
Okay. Not deep
Eh,
fried.
Yep, and they're doing that over there, and then they put pulled pork on it and whatever, kind of as a taco type thing, and it's
Yeah.
a pretty big hit. Pretty big hit. So, of course, after having an hour long conversation with the owner and expansion, just we were talking barbecue, right? He was inquiring about the
Mm-hmm.
food truck,
Huh?
Ooh.
which he really didn't want my food truck because he's got his
Oh.
own food truck. But he was
Oh, okay.
inquiring if I would refer business to him when people called about wanting the food truck.
Oh.
Right.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah. But anyway, we got into just restaurant conversation, and they're going to expand into another location or a different location just right down the street as they build
It
as they
is
build
the
build up
location
a
they're in
big
right now is
horrible.
very small. It's
Yeah.
and it's really nice when you go to trivia at the place next door, which is what I do, and how I know about them. But
Right.
it is really small.
So anyway,
There's like, I think, less than 10 seats.
yeah, right. But so back to the hoe cake.
Mm-hmm.
So when he brought out this corn dog, I said, "Hey, you ever thought about making a hoe cake?" And Uncle Fred says, And he makes all his own recipes, and he has so much garden. Just to give you an idea about Uncle Fred dehydrates onions, dehydrates garlic, and grinds it, and celery and everything, and makes his own spices. He grinds his own onion powder, grinds his own garlic powder, grinds
Wow.
his own celery.
That's a commitment.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Amazing. Makes gallons after gallons of sauerkraut.
Really?
Just pickles. Just amazing. And half of his garden just goes to waste. He just loves to, but it's so big. I mean, he's like, hey, just go get whatever you want. Just whatever. Half of it goes to waste anyway. I can't keep up with it. But he just loves to plant a garden. He's one of those guys that just has the green thumb that everything is
Sure.
pristine in this garden. I mean, it just
Probably
drives
not a
me
weed
crazy.
in it.
Well, I mean, there may be a not much of a weed in there, no, but it's just crazy. But he has a love of the garden, and the garden loves him because he just grows the best tomatoes and the rest everything.
Huh.
And I'm like, you ought to get a little roadside stand in there at Luke's One Stop and just take produce in there every day, just randomly. Even if you just put one of them little boxes saying, here's $1 or whatever, and put your money in the box. But he never does that. He just gives it all away. Whatever he
Sure.
doesn't consume himself. He's a bachelor, so.
But does all the pickling and canning and stuff and
Oh, makes his own wines and makes just everything. And travels the world too. He just knows about everything. Is not.
Oh, really?
scared
And
to
I
take
figured
off.
he'd probably be the person that stayed home all the time.
Oh no.
Oh, but dang.
Yeah, great guy. So anyway, we were talking about this hoe cake. He goes, I've never heard of that, and I said, well, maybe you should try it. And so he goes, I'll be right back, because he was talking about his fish, and he goes, well, we got fish in here too. He says, I bet you that hoe cake would be good with fish on it. And I said, yeah, if you had some fish on it, but then you'd want some coleslaw and maybe a little hot sauce on there. He goes, oh, I got both those. So about 5 minutes later, here he comes with like the perfect hoe cake. It looked like a little pancake, but it was very sturdy.
Huh.
It was very sturdy. It was thin but sturdy, and it was just a. It had a hint of sweetness, but it was cornbread forward.
Right.
And I'm like, man, you could put anything on this. And we took the fish and put on there and coleslaw and hot sauce. And he's
Good.
like, whoa. He says, we're on to something here. He goes, I think I'm going to serve this at bingo night for the Legion.
At the American Legion, I'm sure.
At the American Legion in Onargo. Onargo. It's got to be Onargo. Onarga, I think. Anyway. Just
I should know that town.
But great. And so then pretty soon he goes back in the kitchen, grabs his recipe book, and comes back and goes.
How big is that?
Opens up not very big, but opens up
okay.
the recipe book and flips it open to the corn dog and said, "Here, take a picture of this." And then he goes, "Hey, boom, here's the coleslaw." Takes a picture of that. And then, hey, you want my macaroni salad? Here, take a picture of this.
I'll be damned.
Pretty soon I'm taking a picture of his whole cookbook, and I mean, it's just all made from scratch stuff, which I just love.
Sure.
You know,
so he's the head chef at the American Legion.
No, he's just a flunky that they get to volunteer to cook when they have big events.
Okay.
No.
Which all American Legions have.
Right. And he loves doing it. He said they were going to do between 300 and 400 corn dogs on Friday and 300 to 400 on Saturday. Out of two little fryers. Yeah.
They're at the American Legion?
Yep. And hand dipping each one of them.
I'll be damned.
Yeah. That crazy?
That is crazy.
That is crazy.
And so he was testing. Here, this guy walks up, and it was a friend of his. And the friend says to him, he said, "Hey, how come they don't have any Jack Daniels out here?" Because we were in the beer tent, and Fred goes, "I'll get you some." And I can't remember the guy's name. But anyway, the guy kind of walks away, and Fred goes, "Guy there? His dad, Southside Mafia." And the guy looked like Mafia, right? Uh-huh. He said Southside Chicago Mafia.
Really?
His dad spent 20 years in the pen, killed a guy.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, I mean, crazy. I mean, this guy was like, I'm not talking about nicest guy in the world. Just sat there and talked with the guy for 45 minutes.
Huh.
Yeah.
Kill the guy.
Yeah. It's just amazing what you meet in small town.
Illinois.
Amazing.
So yeah, so we
what a place.
Yeah, I mean, we've just been chilling out. You know, it was literally the week from hell, which didn't take me a lot of convincing. Come, Thursday when my wife says, "You want to just pack our shit up and go to Illinois?" And I'm like, "Sure, let's go."
Let's go. And they didn't even come see you, Randy. Oh.
Huh?
They didn't even come see Randy.
Well,
I should have diverted south.
We've been busy, so.
Have you been busy?
Well, free labor, Randy.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about you.
Yeah. Even got an event. We're recording on Sunday. Even got an event this afternoon and this evening, a big music concert.
Ugh.
And from 1 until 9. How I committed to that, I don't know. But it's for a benefit deal, so.
Are you going to get any rain, Randy? It sounds like they're going to get maybe rain here later this afternoon, or is it all going to go north?
I don't know. I haven't really watched the weather.
What? Randy?
What kind of food truck guy are you?
Yeah, you don't watch the weather?
No.
Okay, so where is the event at? Is it in Springfield?
Springfield, yes. Okay, I'm not going to look up. You guys are looking.
There is a 25% chance of rain, according to the weather app on my iPhone, which is about as reliable as it gets. You have a 25% chance at 3, 25% chance at 6, and a 25% chance at 7. However, you have a 65% chance of rain today. So that
Well, it's saying
makes
90%
sense.
chance of rain on my app, the Weather Channel.
Couple
Well,
of
I would trust
thunderstorms,
that.
especially very humid. Storms can
What's
bring
new?
flooding downpours and localizing damaging wind gusts. I'm getting 79%
Okay,
for
so don't
Springfield.
trust the weather app on your
Yeah.
iPhone.
Well, that's nice to get a lot of food made up, and then comes a flood and they cancel it.
Well, it's only supposed to rain like at 5, 6, and 8 p.m., so don't worry about
Oh,
that.
so right in the middle of the concert.
Oh, no, wait. At 1, too.
The only thing
So
it'd be
during
nice
setup.
if it would come a rain at 1 is they would cancel it and then wouldn't sit there all day and people not show up because it's supposed to rain.
Right.
I don't know. Music people are crazy. Being one myself, I would go to a concert in the rain.
They're having like 8 or 9 bands at this event,
Ugh.
and
Yeah. If I
all
liked them
kinds
enough,
of
I would go.
stuff going on with it. It's for there was a dance studio that few weeks, a month ago, or maybe more than a month, maybe 2 months. Some lady had a medical emergency and ran into the building and killed several people, young children, and so they're they've had a few benefits over there, and I haven't participated in any because we've been busy. And when they called, I had the time, and we need to help out. So
Yeah,
we're
so I
gonna,
hope it doesn't rain. Or if it
yeah,
does
I
rain,
do
people
too.
still show up.
Yeah,
Because it's for
and
a good
it seems
cause.
like a lot of times they'll call for rain and it doesn't rain. So
Right.
Right. That's what they said's happened here. Driest could be here.
yeah, it's dry down
I
here too.
cannot
But you
say
go
the
but you go
same
20
about Des
miles to
Moines.
the west and the corn is beautiful.
Is there
And then
crops don't look too
it,
good over there?
well, they're just kind of shriveled up. One rain, they're just starting to tassel out, whereas just to the west of here is fully tasseled out the corn.
Yeah, we're fully tasseled down here.
Yeah.
Crops look good.
Yeah, I've seen every farm field in Iroquois County.
So what's
Because that's what you do. You grab beers and you grab the Jeep and
Gravel travel.
well, I grab water, but
and so gearing up for the county fair? I know people are getting tired of hearing about that, but that's
I'm not. Gary
kind
Allen's
of
going to be
getting
there.
food banked up and stuff and getting planned out. So we can hit that not this coming week, but the next week. So
next week.
yeah. And of course, we're going to be short a person, so that'll help out.
Well, maybe
You
I'll
want
come
Darren to
down.
come out?
Yeah.
Come on
He's feeling
Thursday when I
crazy.
have that catering for 500,
He'll be there.
which
He'll
is
stay in
really
Illinois
not that
for
big
the
a
week.
deal.
Not that big a deal. Right.
Hey.
So we'll make it. We always
You
do.
want me to bring brisket with me when I come?
No, I've already got it.
Oh, you did.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Already got it taken care of. So what's ended up being your week from hell?
Yeah.
Well, so my bride, we're
Right.
remodeling at home,
All right.
right?
Yes. You did tell us about that a little bit
every
last
home
week.
after 7 years needs remodeled,
Right.
and
That
so
sounds about right.
the flooring company showed up Monday, and they're out of small town Iowa, redneck, out of Ottumwa.
Oh, tell me.
I might even know him.
So anyway,
They're probably my cousins.
they showed up, and they actually just got hotels for the week, so they didn't have to travel back and forth, and sent their kids to Adventureland every day. And they're like, well, when do you want us? When can we come in, and when do you want us out of here? And I said, well, I'm gone. We're both gone by 4:45 in the morning. And they looked at me like, what? I'm like, yeah, we're both gone by 4:45 in the morning. And if you want to work till 8 o'clock at night, you just knock your socks off.
Right.
And by God, they came halfway early. I think they probably came at 7, and they worked till 8 o'clock every night.
Really?
And they were just got after it,
Well, that's
and
good.
did a great job. But as part of that, of course, you're not really able to live much in your house except sleep there. So,
Right.
but in the meantime, while that was going on, because, we have no countertops, so I haven't been able to cook at home for like 2.5, 3 weeks now,
Right.
which just drives me nuts.
Right.
I finally got a chance to cook last night in Cissna Park. I'm like, I got a chance to cook over here, some Mexican over here. But anyway, so we also got all our old hickory pits delivered.
Right.
And so Monday morning, a crew showed up to start tearing out the old pits because we had planned. And I said, whoa. They were supposed to show up Monday afternoon. And then Monday morning, here at 6 o'clock in the morning, here's this crew starting to take stuff down. And I said, time out, boys. I don't even have confirmation these pits are on the way yet, because normally they would call the day before. But since it was Sunday, I never got a phone call. And I said, let's just push
Right.
the brakes here for a minute. There's no sense in tearing all this stuff apart if they're not showing up, because I had only confirmed this about 2 weeks prior. So at 8 o'clock or 7:30, I'd sent a message to the shipping department at Old Hickory and said, "Hey, we talked about this date, but I've not got a call from the driver." And like 2 minutes later, driver calls me. I said, "Yep, we're on our way. We got 2 trucks going to be there. We're going to be there at 2:30 in the afternoon." I'm like, "That's just perfect." So I'm like, put them back to work. We started tearing out all the pits. So we had to we have 2 ELEDXs and 1 SSJ that are outside under a canopy, but through the brick wall or through the concrete block wall
Right.
in the kitchen.
Right.
So we had to unhook all the flue pipes and everything, unhook the gas lines and everything, and then bring those pits out and then cover the openings so that we could keep the air conditioning in and the flies out.
Right. Right. Exactly.
And pull those all out. So the way out, but last time we pulled them out, we fucked up the front of the pits because they scraped on the concrete wall. So I had to be like, hey boys, here's the plan. We're got to tilt these back a little bit so we don't do it. So we got everything out successfully, got everything into the parking lot. And then we cooked outside on Tuesday. And so then Tuesday morning, well, I guess, no, that was Monday. We took all the trim and everything and play. And on Tuesday morning, we started that process of taking all the pits out when we knew we had the pits there. So Tuesday
Right.
morning, we started 5:30 in the morning. We started taking pits out, and then we started putting pits back in. Well, we get the big pit back, and the big pit is tucked. It was way back in the corner. It had never been replaced since 2011 because I didn't want to fuck with it because it's a really back in the corner.
Right.
And so we had to get past 2 pits to get to it. So we had to, while the other 2 pits were out, we got it
Then
back
go
there.
ahead.
So we got
Sure.
the big pit back there, got it. We didn't set it in the hole quite yet, but then they loaded the other 2 pits in, and we got ready to put the big pit in the hole.
Uh huh.
And Old Hickory had changed the leg configuration
Oh.
on the pit. Now we ordered the same exact pit that they're the same exact models, but since it had been 2011, evidently the configuration had changed on the legs, and the legs had to be moved forward, or they moved the legs forward. So
Uh-oh.
we go to put this thing through the wall, and we're still lacking 4 inches of getting this thing through the wall.
Because of
And
the
we had to
legs.
come another 8 inches through the wall so we could access the access panel on the side of it, which we've had to do multiple times since I've got the pit through the wall. But that's another whole
Oh.
story. Um, so anyway, we had to call out a mobile welding service
Oh, shit.
to take a nice $28,000 pit and cut the legs off of it and weld them back on, 14
Move them
inches
back and,
back.
yeah.
And he really wasn't super happy when he saw the position it was in. And he's like, well, can we take this out? And we're like, nope,
Nope.
there's nothing we can do. But we can lay down cardboard because there was some grease on the floor where somebody had, left the grease thing open.
Oh.
So, but he got her done. He was a trooper. He said he was a welder that he goes, wow, I usually don't do small jobs like this. He goes, normally I work on skyscrapers. And I'm like, ooh, this is not going to be a cheap thing. Probably should have asked the price first, but
Right.
it had to get done.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Know that deal.
But we got all the pits through. We got them put in place. I had the plumber there to gas pipe them all. We got them gas piped in. We go to fire them up, and none of them would fire. So they start, and when we put these pits in the last time, 4 years ago, we had 2 defective gas valves.
Oh, shit.
And they said they were getting gas valves from China, and they had had a run of bad gas valves. So we stole the gas valves off the old pits and put them on the new pits. And as soon as we did that, they fired right up. And so I told the guys, I'm like, are these gas valves? And like, well, we're going to work on regulators first. So they undid the regulators and started measuring gas pressure. And every time he would push on the spring, the thing would fire. And so I had as you can imagine, I had a construction crew there. I had this welder there. I had a heating and cooling company that was dealing with all the flue pipes going through the roof.
Right.
And then that company, when they went on the roof, said, hey, your walk-in cooler compressor's got a problem. I said, what? I said, our meat room cooler. They said, yeah, it's got a problem. It's making all kinds of noise, and get up here on the ladder. So I crawled up the ladder, and I'm like, oh, this isn't good. And I'm like, it's holding temp. And he goes, yep, it's holding temp now, but it won't be by morning, I guarantee it. And I said, well, just fix this son of a bitch. And he goes, we don't do that stuff. We only do air conditioning stuff. And I'm like, okay. So I called CSI, our company, and I said, and I knew better than to call the office. I called the sales guy, and I said, hey, Juan, how many calls down are you? Because I'd had him out multiple times all week long. And he goes, well, I'm gaining. I'm only 40 calls down. He goes, what's the problem? And I said, meat room walk-in cooler. And he goes, oh, fuck. Okay, I'll yank somebody. He goes, I'll cut him in line. Okay, thanks. Because I spend a lot of money with them every year.
Sure.
Lots of money. I'm probably their biggest customer, actually. And so 20 minutes later, the owner of the company shows up.
Of CSI?
Of CSI. Hey, Darren, what's going on? Yeah, this is going on. Oh, let me get up there. Gets up. Yep, bad fan motor. Wow. Sun's getting bright in Cessna.
Yeah.
Huh. Not sure how I'm going to resolve that issue.
They're not a curtain?
I'm outside in an outdoor kitchen.
Well, I didn't know that.
Of course there's a curtain.
Oh. No.
No, I didn't know.
Damn
No,
it.
that made it much worse.
Oh, well. Anyway.
We'll
okay.
work with it.
Yeah, just work. I'll just squint.
Can you, like, turn?
So anyway.
Shift? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just squint.
It'll go away. It's the sun.
Yeah. Just squint.
So anyway. Yeah, bad motor on the fan that cooled the compressor. So he's like, "Yeah, you would have been screwed by morning." I'm like, "Well, that's good."
So
anyway,
you caught it.
But as you can imagine, my parking lot is full of service vans. I mean, it's just full.
I can only imagine.
So anyway, the guy from CSI, he comes down, and these plumbers are working on this thing, and they're like, "Yeah, this is happening, whatever." And he goes, "Hey boys, that's a half-pound gas regulator. He's got 2-pound gas." Oh, like shit. Where are we going to find a 2-pound gas regulator? I said, right out there in the parking lot on those old pits.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking.
So we go get the old pits, and we rob the regulators, put them on, boom, fire them right up. But the big pit didn't. The big pit took so long to get welded and stuff. We didn't get it put through the wall because you imagine, since we already had the other pits in, we couldn't. We didn't have the forklift in there anymore. There wasn't room for the forklift.
Oh shit!
So we had to bottle jack it up to weld it, to cut the legs and weld it. Well, then we also have special stands that we make. Adjustable stands that we designed with old hickory to level out the pits. So you got to take the casters off and put the stands on. Well, so we decided, you know what, we're just going to wait until Wednesday morning to do that, which we did and got that all done. But they built the legs too long on 2 of the other pits. So in the meantime of all this mess, I had to go to my buddies and cut 2 inches off their legs in the middle and re-weld them. And it was just one thing after another.
Sounds like it.
I mean, we started at, well, I mean, I started about 5 o'clock in the morning at the restaurant. We started at 5:30 and we were finally done at 7 o'clock that night fucking with pits. But we did get a cook on them, except for the big one, the rib one. And then on Wednesday, we get the rib one going, and it's tripping the breaker. It ran for 4 hours, then it tripped the breaker. And then it would run, then it would trip the breaker. So then we get the electrician out, and we measure it, and for some reason that pit would pull 6 amps, but as soon as you opened the doors and started it up, it would pop to 24 amps.
Oh, my goodness.
Just for a millisecond. Just for a millisecond on the meter.
Why?
Enough to kick the breaker.
Just enough to kick the breaker. So we switch out the breaker the next day, Wednesday. We got the breaker switched out. No, that was Thursday. So we'd been without the big pit, so we're cooking ribs outside all the time. We got the breaker. He comes in, gets the 20 amp breaker, puts in a new 20 amp breaker. It trips a 20 amp breaker. So he says, "I'll fix this." He goes and gets a 30 amp breaker. Doesn't trip the 30 amp breaker. So I'm like, okay, everything good? We're all up temp. They're like, well, yeah, but it's miscalibrated like 10 degrees. I'm like, I'll deal with it next week. Just set the dial differently, right? Not too worried about it. So we decide Thursday we're going to come to Illinois. So we load up all this sauce, and I get ready to go, and I'm like, I need to swing by 2nd Avenue and just get a couple things. And our menu board goes down. at lunch.
Holy shit.
And I'm trying to get on the phone with the menu guy, and he's not answering the phone. And finally he goes, sorry, I wouldn't answer. And I was driving. I'm on my way to a cabin. So I've got him in a rest area on his computer, hooked to his phone for Wi-Fi, resolving the problem for the menu board. So we got that done after about 45 minutes. We got the menu board because, of course, it was 10:45 on Friday or Thursday.
Right.
You know, and we're just fucking. We got 30-some pickups coming. I mean, it's a busy day. And so it's like, I'm like, holy shit. So anyway, get that done. Get ready to walk out the door. I'm trying to leave by 11 in the morning. It's 11:45. Getting ready to walk out the back door. Hey, the pit's not firing. The big pit's not firing. Got lights, got everything. Don't have any fire. Well, remember when I talked about putting the control panel through the wall?
Uh-huh.
Well, you could only get about half the control panel through the wall. So as you can imagine, I had to take trim off to get the control panel off.
That's what I was just thinking.
So we get the control panel, and I'm like, got to be, and it used to be high limit switches, shut down the entire pit. Well, high limit switches only shut down the burner. So if everything else is working, but you don't have a burner, hit your high limit switch. So I clicked the high limit switch, fired right up. I'm like, boys, there's your problem. Fixed, put the panel back on, put the trim back on. I'm getting out of here. I get out of here. I get 2 hours down the road. Hey, tripped the high limit again.
Jesus.
What temperature were they running at?
250. So the problem is now we have a bad thermostat.
Oh, shit.
So they got it to hold, and then it tripped overnight. And then all of a sudden he sends me a picture yesterday, and he goes, hey, this is weird. I got it set at 250, and it's running at 325. And I'm like, we've just figured out why it's tripping our high. We got a bad thermostat. He's like, and it's cold. They're having to cook outside, and it's supposed to rain yesterday. I think it rained yesterday in Des Moines. So, and storm. So I'm like, oh, God. I said, I went to one of my kitchen guys. I'm like, hey, if you're mechanically inclined, there's a thermostat on the old pit out there. Can you just go get the thermostat on the old pit, undo the 2 screws, follow the wires, and put the old thermostat in the new pit? Which they did, and it is all successful working now.
Good.
Oh, God. That's scary. I mean, that you let somebody else do it.
So how many parts off the old pit have you put on the new pit?
Well, we've only got the regulators and the thermostats.
So far.
And this happens every time we put new pits. And I remember it just takes a little bit of time to settle these bitches in.
Yeah, nothing new works right away.
Nothing new. Isn't that the case?
Pretty much.
Why is that?
I don't know.
If
I had the answer, I'd try to solve the problem. But
I know what the problem is.
Oh, God.
What's that?
Do I want to hear what you think it is?
No, we just moved away. We went quantity over quality.
Correct.
And it used to be, things were made, when we made copper pipe, Well, now we've figured out with all this fancy high-tech equipment that if we can make the copper pipe thinner, then we can save copper and still get the same job done.
Right.
But they don't take into the fact that sometimes thin, if it's not exactly perfect, that you're going to blow out the copper pipe.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I had, for example, and I'm going to have a little conversation with my friends at Old Hickory Pits. Um, so I went to wire something and I had them on the phone. I was unwiring shit. I had to unwire every one of the pits. I had to unwire all the electric and reroute it. I had to unwire all the foot pedals and reroute it, right? So let me show you a picture. So this was a 2011 control box. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. See how nice and, all them bundles of wires and,
Exactly.
right?
Looks familiar.
Works familiar. Okay. Now let me show you. Now let me show you when I opened up the side. This is what a 2025 pit looks like.
Holy shit. I'm better off not saying anything.
Yeah, well, I'll say something for the both of us.
Thank you.
When I called up service and he goes, well, just trace this wire, Darren. Okay, let me lay down my phone and I'll be about 20 minutes. He's like, what? I'm like, let me send you a picture. He says, well, they're labeled on the ends. So now instead of making them nice and spending time to make nice, they just label the ends, which is fine until you have to cut the wire.
Then you got to search it all through and.
Yeah, mangled mess. Crazy.
Looks like it.
Crazy. Just workmanship. Just workmanship.
But they got them done and out the door.
Done and out the door.
Done and out the door.
And you think people are saying, hey, what are you doing with the old pits?
Keeping them, using them as scraps.
All I had to do. Oh, no, we're putting the new parts when they come in on those. No. Ordering the new parts.
Oh.
Well, I have the new parts for because most people don't have 2-pound gas, so I just put the other regulators on those.
Right.
And then the thermostat, I'll get the new one, and I'm not switching it out. I'm going to put the new one on the old pit, so they have a brand new thermostat.
I don't blame you.
Because what's working is working, and you don't screw with it once it's working.
Yep.
Yeah, once it's working, you don't touch it.
Agreed.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
So anyway, so I posted a picture Christmas in July on Facebook, right?
Right.
With the new pits.
I think I saw that.
With the new pits showing up. Well, let's just say I've already sold both pits.
Have you really?
Yeah. The only pit I haven't sold is the big SSJ pit.
Right.
Which is a little more complex to sell because it's such a huge pit.
Right.
I told Sherry, I said, I might just convert that over to propane and keep it as my personal pit at the restaurant if I can find a place. Because it sure would be nice to fill that babies full of turkeys come Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Really would.
Oh, you posted it on your own. Why did I think I saw that?
Yeah.
So you have had quite the adventurous week.
I have a contract for that.
Well, yeah, but sometimes I think you do on Instagram. I feel like I saw something on Instagram
accidentally.
The other day.
That's accidentally when I do that.
Okay.
That's when I fuck things up. If you ever see Darren post on Instagram, that's because he fucked things up.
Because he fucked things up? Okay. Since we're talking about how everybody's week went, I had a great one. You guys want to hear about it?
You had a great week?
I just had a great 4th of July. 4th of July. My brother got engaged.
I heard at the wrong park bench.
She told you? When did you talk to my mom?
Yesterday morning, dealing with a restaurant problem at 6 a.m.
Oh, love that. Yeah, it was at the wrong park bench. Now let me tell you. I had this engagement planned perfectly. I was like, here you go, JJ. Here you go. Handed on a silver platter. I had the whole plan. Platter. I had the whole plan. I sent him videos. I sent him texts. I was like, here's a video of the exact bench so that we don't screw this up. Like, here's the trails right here and the bridges right here. Like, this is the bench. Well, I'm hiding in the trees and bushes to take pictures. And I see them walking down, and there's a bench about 300 yards away, a different bench, not the bench he was supposed to go to. And I had sent him a text and said, hey, there's like 2 or 3 benches before the bench you need to go to. Don't go to those because they don't have flat land and like a clear view of the lake. Like, so you don't have a good place to get down on a knee. And also, there's not a clear view of the lake. So.
Because you know what's more important, Randy, than getting engaged? Is having the pictures showing you got engaged.
No. I wanted
the guy down on his knee and that. And it amazes me how set up so many of these are. You know, it's like, okay, you got engaged. You've got engaged. Perfect. And now you take a picture of you getting engaged. Don't bullshit me. You know, I just saw one the other day.
Remember what we used to do in the good old days, Randy?
It's just to document the moment.
I don't want to say.
Exactly.
I don't want to say.
Oh, Jesus.
I saw a picture yesterday or last night of some guy that got engaged. Him and his other half got engaged, and there's a fireworks going off in the background. It's like, how fucking set up is this? You know, come on. Sure, not much surprise. Okay, probably, hey, let's get married. Okay, let's get married. Now, let's get ready for the fireworks. You know, he doesn't realize he's getting ready for fireworks.
Yeah, when we used to bang them.
Yeah, that's all there was to it. Just bam, bam.
I just knew that was coming.
Guaranteed, you know, that
I knew that's what you were going to say.
An engagement was going to get you a gang bang, you know, whatever.
A gang bang?
Oh.
Randy!
No, not a gang bang, but just a bang. Just a...
Okay. Okay, well now let's move on. That's...
Wait, is this Darren?
Fuckers. Okay, so back to my story.
Okay, back to your story.
All right.
So, I'm set up behind this tree, okay? I have my grandma with me recording, and Lane is with us too, okay? So we're like in the trees. We're being really, really stealthy.
Were people looking at you funny?
Are you camoed?
No. But
did you have the paint on your face?
Eye paint?
No. Yeah. No, I didn't go that crazy.
See, that's where you went wrong.
I thought about it. Okay, so I see my siblings because Josie and Carter brought their significant others and the dogs on said walk to make it look less suspicious.
Well, how many goddamn people were on this?
6. I didn't know there was gonna be that many. But anyway, so we're on this walk. JJ goes, "Hey, really? Let's go sit on this bench." 300 yards away from where he's supposed to. Okay.
You should have called him.
Well, I was texting my sister, and I was like, make sure he comes to the bench by the bridge. Like, don't screw this up. And they sat at a different bench. And they had this really great moment. Well, in the background, you can hear somebody stomping because I'm not a very stealthy runner. And I was bolting to try to get the shot, which I did while I was running, because talent. Kind of. It was luck. It was all luck.
So did you recreate it at the right bench?
Yeah, of course.
There you go. There you go.
But this was the authentic...
We had that one nailed, didn't we, Darren?
This was the authentic... Look, this was the authentic... Well, this is edited. But this was the authentic moment. I got that while I was on the run. Look at him. They're having a whole moment.
Nice back.
Hey, I was behind him because he wasn't in the right spot, Randy.
Oh, okay.
See, look at them having a moment. Okay, now here's the stage one. This is where it's supposed to be. This is what it was supposed to look like. But it's fine. It turned out great.
I think the first one looks a lot better.
Yeah,
I do too.
because it's authentic. I agree.
Because it's not homework.
Yeah.
What is this deal with photographing
you just
shit?
You just want to document moments. No, it was...
No.
I mean, it was on brand, and it was really funny, and I am very excited because now I have 2 siblings engaged. Woo! So many weddings in my future. Let's get lit.
Oh, that's what we're going to do. We're going to get drunk.
Well, I won't. I don't really drink, but I like to dance. Oops, oops, oops. You know?
Huh.
I'm the life of the party all the time, guys. Duh.
You are.
Duh. Have you met me? Anyway.
Yeah, I don't get the, and I take pictures. Trust me,
Yeah.
I take pictures.
Yeah, we know.
Sure.
But when something's going to be beautiful, like a Florida sunset, and you're not going to have much time to do it, I sure the fuck ain't going to spend it staring at a camera trying to get the shot. I'm like,
no, and I don't disagree.
And I always tell that to Sherry. I'm like, you know what? She's always at a sunset. She's always trying to catch these pictures of the sunset. And I'm like, why don't you put it on your phone and just enjoy the sunset? And
I don't disagree. But
put
also,
it in your mind. Etch it in your mind.
It's it's one of those things where like I was documenting the moment for them. Like they were in it. And that's why you have me in the bushes. So you can be in the moment yourself. And I can capture the excitement and the emotion and
I'm
the
trying
love.
to think if
because like did I show you guys my sister's engagement photos? She didn't even know I was there.
I'm trying to think if somebody would have caught my engagement, which was under the campanile at Iowa State at the stroke of midnight.
See, there's in the moment.
There's nobody going to be able to would have been able to capture mine.
I don't even want to know.
You don't want to know.
I don't. It's just
you don't.
It's just like weddings, engagements, weddings. Everything's different now. Okay. People want effort.
They want what?
They want effort. They want thought. They want plans. You should only get to propose to once. If that's not your path, that's also okay. But some people only get one engagement.
She was being politically correct there, Randy.
Oh, I didn't catch it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't want a big engagement, but that's just my own personal. No.
So when they call me you'll probably get engaged on the podcast, I'm guessing. So we're recording it.
Documentation.
No.
Sometime you're over shacking up. Lane will come over, just step inside the thing and go, "Hey guy, hey babe, let's hook up."
Hey babe, hey turn around.
Let's hook up. What?
In permanent way.
Yeah.
You know.
You want to get a 6-pack and fuck, or don't you drink?
What the fuck is wrong with you two?
I can just see him coming into the frame with a little box going.
He's coming in. We're constantly, every time you're at his house now, we're going to watch.
Keep an eye out on the edges.
Is Lane coming today?
No.
Is he coming today?
No.
Is this the day?
Let
us know so we dress up a little bit, because then that way, because it'll be used.
Part, so yeah.
I'll put a collar shirt on.
I would know.
Randy will put on his dress bibs like he used to.
Yeah.
Also, that's not how it's going to go.
So if you see us show up some morning and we're dressed up, or sometime to record, you might want to be on your toes.
We're in the know.
Yeah, because Lane will
Lane doesn't listen to the podcast. He's not going to know this idea.
Tell us, dress up, you guys, so we can use this for some video somewhere.
Yeah, so now we've got, now we're getting catering ideas. We got to get catering ideas together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I had an idea yesterday. Well, I didn't have an idea. So I get a call, or I get a thing yesterday about focaccia bread with hot dogs in it. Have you seen that one?
No, but my mom made the best sandwiches with focaccia bread
she said that. So here's focaccia bread, and I cut the hot dogs in half, and I put some jalapeno cheese sausage. So after I made the focaccia bed, I put it in there,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I baked it off, put a little cheese on top. Okay. And then we took it out of the pan, cut it up, and they're like a hot dog in a bun, but the bun is
If I hear
focaccia.
dogs,
Yeah, they're
No,
with
it's
Darren.
no, the fucking neighbors yapping. Somebody walked by. I don't know. They ain't my dogs. I ain't got no goddamn dogs.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Those don't look as appetizing as they sound.
They were good. So because in a couple weeks we got the Paw Patrol birthday
Yes.
party coming up, which we
Duh.
haven't designed the menu for, but I'm thinking that would be something pretty damn easy for me.
Yeah, Mom did focaccia ham and cheese sandwiches with all the fixins of your choice. And then I think turkey and some other kind of meat. But
Yeah, Brian and Carrie they had a little catering for. They just had to put together some trays of cold meat. They had to do turkey and ham and Swiss, and turkey and American um, little slider buns on a tray. I said, "What do you get for those things?" $1.75 each for a slider. Well, they go out and they got 10
mm,
portions because they sliced it thin and let it kind of puff up and put it on the sandwich. 10 portions per pound of the meat, and then a half a slice of cheese on a little 20-cent slider bun.
right?
2 trays, $70 out the door.
Wow.
And I'm like, why are we not doing this? And of course, Amanda, the first thing is, well, maybe that's good for a late night wedding.
I'll start thinking about that. Because Smokey D's will be catering, I'm sure. With an employee discount?
I don't know. Maybe she's going to call in. Maybe she's going to call in Twyford Barbecue and Catering.
We'd run up.
Oh, that'd be so fun. But
We got a food
not.
truck that travels now. We could run up there and keep things refrigerated.
Well, you could just pick up your new one.
I never thought about that.
Still for sale.
Still for sale.
Still for sale.
I thought you said that used vending would sell that bitch quick.
Oh, you've got it listed?
Yeah, for the
What's it
last 2
listed at?
weeks.
Oh, okay.
Usedvending.com.
What's it listed at?
Well, on the site, it's $44,000.
Right.
Okay, so any of our listeners are looking for a new food truck. It's on sale. Smokey D's. It's $44,000.
Go to usedvending.com under all-purpose food trucks. It's there.
It's blue and green and bright, and
all
you
stainless.
can't miss it. Anyway, but yeah, go buy Darren's food truck. Anyway,
but call Randy. He's my broker.
Yeah, I'll broker
Right.
it out for you.
correct.
Yeah, that I'm
I
thinking
tried to
about
just
taking
give
it
it
to the
away.
auction house and just being rid of it.
I tried to give it away. We had some people comment.
Take it to an auto auction and get rid of the bitch.
Oh, and by the way, as our informational of the day,
Okay.
since I'm remote, I'm using the Yeti French press.
Oh,
Okay.
how's that?
Got the 32 ounce. Well, I've tried to use it 3 or 4 times, and I could never get the formulation right.
Uh-huh.
About
Today?
coffee to water ratio. I just could never get this sumbitch right. And so I called up my good buddy, Tuffy Stone. And I said, Tuffy, I saw where you use these things in your barbecue class. And he gave me a ratio of a tablespoon of coffee to a cup. Let me go back to it because I don't want to
Give us misinformation.
2 tablespoons to 1 cup of water.
Okay.
Of coffee as a general rule for a French press.
Mm-hmm.
So in that thing, I did 3 cups of water to kind of get my this.
Mm-hmm.
3 cups of water, I did 3/4 of a cup. Perfect.
Right on the money.
Perfect. Boiling water, let it
Perfect.
seep for 6 minutes, press down the French press. Amazing. Amazing cup of coffee, if you like a strong cup of coffee.
That I do.
Love a strong
I have to try that sometime.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, you got to buy your $150 French press. I'm sure.
Yeah, from Yeti. Yeah.
That Jeff Vanderlinde from Shiggin and Grinnin brought me as a gift when I was ordering a bunch of stuff, and he bought a gift, and then afterwards I realized that I ended up paying for it myself, and he's like, "Oops, sorry." Sorry. Okay.
Anyway, well, you guys got anything
else?
Nope. Getting back on the barbecue trail next week. Going to Papillion, Nebraska.
Papillion? Where's that at?
Omaha.
Omaha? Okay. Yeah, you talked about that.
Yeah. Omaha. So I got the Randy. I dropped off the RV at the Cummins because they're working on the generator. I dropped that off on Wednesday.
Right.
And we've got a battery issue that we can't. He was going to figure out. We couldn't get. He's like, he went and got the codes. As soon as I pulled up, he says, "Get that thing over here." So they have a special way buttons to push to figure out what the codes are, and they count the number of flashes. And he got a code 39. He's like, "You got low battery." I don't have a low battery. And he's like, "No, you got a low battery." And I said, "Okay." He goes, "Well, where's this been stored?" And I said, "In my shed, plugged into 50 amp outlet, inverting off a battery, and charging the battery." So I said, "Go grab your tester." Opened up the battery compartment. Sure enough, great battery strength. I got lithium batteries, in there, all sets of them. He goes, "This don't make any sense." It would start to turn over and then bleh.
Bleh.
So anyway, he's like, "Go start your coach." I said, "What good's that going to do? It's on two separate systems." He goes, "Go start your coach." I go and start the coach. He lets it run for about 30 seconds, goes, hits the generator. That fucker fires right off.
Really?
So somehow the generator is tied to the coach batteries, which...
Right.
So he said, there's some sort of connection problem or whatever. And I said, well, that's pretty interesting because every time but it can't be tied to that battery because even when I shut down that battery, I can still do it. But anyway, electrical issues, generator issues, brand new RV. Well, not brand new, 2 years old, 5,000 miles on the RV.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll cost me $5,000 to get fixed.
Oh, yeah.
Well, shit.
Oh, well, shit.
Well, just an update on the agricultural front. I don't know whether anybody can hear it in the background, but the helicopters are coming over. Can you hear?
Nope.
No, are you going to war or what? Are you spraying for Japanese beetles?
Oh, now I can hear it.
Fungicides.
I heard him.
Fungicides?
Yeah. There's a place, a heliport, just down the road from us. And I was by there the other day, and I bet you they had 8 or 10 helicopters parked there.
Whew. Spraying fungicide.
Yeah, on corn.
So they did it. So they've done away with the crop dusting planes, and they went to helicopters. Easier to control. Well,
there was a crop duster flying the other day around here. Another company had them doing aerial or with a plane, but then these guys are based out north of home here. They've got the helicopters.
I don't know why they haven't taken that all to drones.
Well, and they're doing the drones too. There's a couple guys around town here that are doing, got the trucks and the drones, and that's pretty neat to watch. I'm sure if you went to TikTok, you could find a the TikTok of people applying with crop dusting with
I'm too
drones.
I'm too busy on the cattle auctions.
Yeah, well, that's in between.
Oh.
All right, anything else? Just agricultural update.
Agricultural update, and the price of brisket's going through the roof. And
did it go up again?
I guess, I don't know. It didn't for me. I'm still paying the same. Price of pork has me concerned though too. Hell, it's above $2 a pound.
Is it really?
Yeah, 209. Not
Holy
happy
fuck.
about that.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, we got to get this holiday out of the way. And then hopefully we'll see a decline.
Be nice.
That and chicken tenders, but the goddamn wings are cheap as shit.
Yeah, I know. The
Crazy.
price of wings have went down. Thighs are still up there.
Yeah.
I got quoted at $110 a case just the other day. Oh, update for people that on chicken thighs from Sam's Club. You know, they used to come in those styrofoam trays, and you could just flip those trays. Huh?
Yeah, now they don't.
No, and they're a fucking pain in the ass trying to get them out of those plastic things.
You don't go through them? You don't go through them?
What do you mean go through them?
Well, we go through every chicken thigh because once in a while you get a little bone or a piece of cartilage. So we actually have somebody take each piece out and run their fingers over it.
No.
Oh.
You got to cut the bag open, reach in there. It's like palpating a cow. Reach in there, grab out the innards. You know, it's like you're pulling a calf. You know, you reach in there, pull it out, and then throw it on the pit. It's just a pain in the ass.
This pulling a cow's going right over the top. A calf's going right over the top of Emma.
No, I got it.
She's just so becoming numb to you, Randy.
I think so. All right, that's all my agricultural updates for the day.
And the agriculture update for the day brought to you by, what's that bank again?
No.
First National Bank of Orangeville and Trust.
Oh. Okay.
And this special episode brought to you by Luke's One Stop.
There you go.
In System Park, Illinois. Home of the $1.75 slider. And fresh pie made daily.
That's nice. Well, if you haven't already, follow us on social media at Cue the Mic Pod. Find us on YouTube at Cue the Mic Podcast. Like, follow, subscribe, do all the things. You know the drill. Randy.
What's the drill? Is this where you clear your throat?
Boom. Out of here. Done. Finished. Gone.
What are you doing?
Boom. See you later. See you next week.
Adios.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next week.